Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. It's a bright, sunshiny day here in Youngstown today. I hope you feel that presence within you. There's nothing more important than that. God's Spirit at the very center of your being. May you feel it within yourself and allow it to be expressed throughout the day. Just a couple of comments just like to make to you. First of all, if you're able to join us tonight for What is Light Body, it's always a very, very powerful evening from 7 to 8:30. And I also want to encourage you to think about joining us for our weekend enrichments every Friday and Saturday evening from 7 to 8:30. There are such wonderful, wonderful programs every Friday and Saturday from 7 to 8:30. Let's begin today. This is an important teaching. My dear friends, there is a certain excitement about living that I've clearly noticed about each one of you recently, but with the difference that is also quite noticeable. The difference is this. In the past, most of the excitement of your life was coming from outside of you, whether it was doing something with family or friends, or just participating in some event, whatever the occasion might have been. It was something outside of you that initiated your excitement. Now, however, it seems that less and less are you dependent on outside events for your happiness, as it's kind of like understanding that you're beginning to be excited from within yourself. That's quite a movement forward, being excited from within yourself. Something has clearly changed, even to the point that we don't really need external events to make us happy, but rather there is that internal sense of happiness that was not present before your growth in spirituality. It's not that we don't appreciate the outside events, it's just that what is most important is the presence within you, with or without an outside event. It has become quite clear to me that your happiness is now initiated from within yourself. You now know how much your spirituality has done for you. It has made you so much happier, kinder, smarter, nicer, more loving, and with much more on the horizon. In today's teaching, I would like to add to your spiritual rebirth with a wonderful phrase, a wonderful piece of advice from Roy Eugene Davis, add a terrific teaching from A Course in Miracles, and then conclude with how we are now living. The talk is entitled Becoming the Total Package. That's the goal, becoming the total package. Let's begin. As many of you know, Roy Eugene Davis was a disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda. At age 18, he hitchhiked from Leavittsburg, Ohio, very close to Youngstown, to California to meet Paramahansa Yogananda. And for the next 72 years, he became a devoted disciple and a wonderful spiritual teacher. He founded the Center for Spiritual Awareness in Lakemont, Georgia, which continues to be a beacon of spiritual light. What I've always appreciated about Roy Eugene Davis, in addition to his grasp of the central teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda, what I really appreciated about him was his very practical approach to enlightened living. Very practical. Because I was recently reading one of his books, The 7 Lessons in Conscious Living, which I will make available to you in 2025, he made a striking comment that fully resonated with my practical approach to spirituality as well. He said that in addition to your daily spiritual practices, highlighted by daily meditation, which he felt, as do I, is the basis for our daily growth. But in addition to daily meditation, there are two other things that are quite important. The first of these two things is to nurture your physical well-being. And then secondly, to live effectively in the world. Let me just repeat those two things. In addition to your daily spiritual practices, two other things. Take care of yourself physically and learn how to live happily, joyfully, realistically in the everyday world. Our lives are not conducted in a spiritual vacuum. We also have to deal with the realities of daily living, and especially to deal effectively with others. Thus, you begin to understand the title of today's teaching, Becoming the Total Package. Not only having a good daily spirituality, but taking good care of yourself and living effectively with others in the world. In addition to understanding this basic notion, Roy Eugene Davis really gives us that encouragement to make sure we take really good care of ourselves and to learn how to live really effectively with people in the world. While I want to focus primarily on effective living with others, I do want to say a couple of words about taking some time for your personal self to take good care of yourselves. Roy Eugene Davis, I think, would endorse all of the following 7 personal things that I think are important, very practical, that you work on to nurture yourself. I'm going to mention them rather quickly, but each one of them bears attention. The first one, daily physical exercise. I hope you're doing that. I personally do the energization exercises of Paramahansa Yogananda daily. Secondly, a good, well-nourishing diet, a good diet. Roy Eugene Davis himself was vegetarian. Thirdly, good relationships, especially within family. Fourth, very important, living within your means, making sure you have enough, but not getting lost in money. Number 5, joining with others of like mind and spirit. Number 6, assisting in community organizations which support your well-being. And then number 7, supporting people and organizations that do good in life and help you in your well-being. Again, the details of these are numerous. I just want to encourage you to get the idea. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of yourself. So many times what happens in life is people will presume everything is just fine with you. No one will know whether you're really taking good care of yourself. Very, very important to do so. Please take good care of yourself. If you don't, no one else will. But it was the third aspect of becoming the total package that has been the focal point of my own life recently, especially highlighted in a recent passage from A Course in Miracles. This passage we bring up every Wednesday in our Course in Miracles group, and I encourage you to join us if you're able to do so every Wednesday morning from 10 to 11:30. Very, very powerful teaching. In this passage from A Course in Miracles, on page 284 in the text, it focused on the journey we take together. So let's focus on it. It focuses on the journey we take together with our fellow human beings. In its classic, penetrating way, the Course said, if you bring others into your circle of oneness, you will rest with them there. If you leave others outside of your circle of oneness, you will join them there. Let me just repeat this. It's a terrific passage. If you bring others into your circle of oneness, you will rest with them there. If you leave others outside of the circle of oneness, well, you will join them there. In this passage, we clearly see the spiritual growth that we have made. But let's be clear. There was a time when we were simply content to let others follow their own path. Whatever they did, that was up to them. We stopped judging them. We stopped trying to control them. But if they stayed in lower energy, well, again, that was simply up to them. We were content to let them be. It was their choice. But then something within us began to change. With this higher concept of oneness, we began to see things, and especially to see others, differently. We began to feel a oneness with them, even though their behaviors were of lower energy. This is a big step forward for us. This shift within us was quite noticeable. We no longer just tolerated or accepted them. We no longer just tolerated or accepted them, but we also began to understand them, and we wanted to understand them. We understood that they were stuck in a lower energy, were having their own soul experience as such. But we were not done with how we saw them. Not only did we understand them, but we also came to respect them. Not their behavior, but rather to respect them as a child of God who deserves to be included in our circle of oneness. This is an enormous teaching. Who deserves to be included in our circle of oneness. This was quite a change for us, learning to respect others, not to become a doormat, not just allowing them to do or say whatever they were going to do or say, but respecting them. It made us look more closely at what we saw within them. Were they just isolated souls, or were they truly meant to be in our circle of oneness? The people you were dealing with, were they just them? Or were they meant to be in your circle of oneness? This sometimes dilemma caused us to rethink our position. Once again, we were not done. There was something more. Here we go. Not only were we guided to respect them, but also to love them. By this I mean not to break our energetic unity with them. Not to break our energetic unity with them, because if we did, if we broke our energetic unity with them by judgment or avoidance, something in us, something within us began not to feel right. Not only did we leave them outside of our circle of oneness, but that's where we ended up. We too were outside of our circle of oneness. Do you not see the advancements that you have made? This is really important. Do you not see the advancements that you have made? You have grown from simply letting others be who they are from your mind to now seeing them from the core oneness of your heart. Yes, you did feel that if you were, in a sense, breaking your oneness with others, then you yourself began to sit outside of the circle of oneness with them in separation. This has become an enormous turning point for us. An enormous turning point for us. To be inclusive in our circle of oneness, just as Jesus aspired to do so. When he said in A Course in Miracles that the purpose of the crucifixion was not to save you from anything, but the purpose of the crucifixion was to teach that no one is excluded from the circle of oneness, even those who might be putting you to death for their own advantage. Jesus said this was an extreme teaching, and it is. We probably are not going to be physically crucified, but oftentimes, in a sense, we are tested by way of psychological crucifixion. We get tested by psychological crucifixion because if we do not accept others, even in their low energy behavior, we psychologically crucify ourselves by not feeling the oneness with them in ourselves. When we leave someone else out, we too are outside. Do you not see how you have grown? Do you not see the advancements you have made? Do you not see how much you have opened your heart? We are becoming the total package. Not just having a good spiritual practice, not just taking care of ourselves, but especially learning to bring others into the circle of oneness. This is challenging. It's so important. Now, let me share with you 3 responses to this notion of caring for others, inclusion within our circle of oneness. First, this past Wednesday, the members of our study group responded to the question that I then asked them, as to, how would you like to treat others who seem to be outside of your circle of oneness? How would you like to treat them? And these were the 15 answers that were given. Kindly, compassionately, non-judgmentally, peacefully, respectfully, sweetly, with acceptance, with a loving heart, positively, attentively, lovingly, kindly again, listening, being approachable, appropriately. I encourage you to reflect upon these responses, not just in your mind, but also from your heart. And to understand that these were made by fellow members of Now Creations. And I just want to encourage you to keep on understanding and feeling internally about your own circle of at one. The second response. The second practical response to this point of oneness is, again, just interesting, and please listen carefully. It's pretty interesting. As we have grown spiritually, not only has our understanding of others grown, but now we have broadened our scope of oneness. We are so much more aware of our oneness, to include our family and friends, certainly, but we also know all the people at the grocery store, in that proverbial grocery line, at the bank, at the gas station. In a nutshell, our scope of oneness is increasing. Aren't you noticing this? You just see everyone differently because you've seen yourself differently. And there are two very practical ways that also might be very helpful to you. First, you are now taking the ball to initiate the oneness. It's now a part of your spiritual practice. You are not just waiting for others to enter into the oneness, but you're the one now who's taking the initiative to either phone or text. You're the one that's taking the initiative to smile. You're the one who's taking the initiative to extend a helping hand. Your circle of oneness has broadened. You're beginning to see yourself as a participant in the larger plan of God and bringing heaven to earth, ushering in the kingdom as you extend yourself in oneness. But the second aspect is even more important. Here's the clincher. Now again, see if this is not true. The people with whom we previously have had problems are no longer seen as quite so problematic. You have become more accepting, more understanding, more respectful, and more loving. Have you not? You have. As you have come to know yourself better, you have come to know others better, and your circle of inclusion is broadening. Someday, maybe it'll be today, your circle of inclusion will be without exceptions, just as Jesus taught, and just as our source has established. We are all children of the oneness. We are now ready for our third point. As simply as I can state it, the third point in becoming the total package. The third point in becoming the total package is, well, this is the way we're living. This is the way that we are living. We are not waiting to become better. We are not waiting for others to improve themselves. We are not waiting for situations to change. Rather, this is how we now live. We are the total package because we know what we're doing. We have checked all of the boxes of Roy Eugene Davis. Do we have a good daily spiritual life? Check. Are we taking better and better care of ourselves? Check. And are we developing a oneness from our source including everyone in our at oneness circle. Check. No one is outside of our circle anymore. But most of all, we are not outside of our circle. We have broadened our circle of oneness. We're living this way. We understand, we respect, and we love. And not only are we living this way now, but we are clearly aware of and want to share this knowledge with others. We do it in so many ways, so many ways. Look at the quality of your life, how it's been improving. We have become the way showers in life. We are showing the way. We have become the vanguard of life with a greater confidence because we are applying our spiritual principles and our spiritual values, and we see their effectiveness. As the Hopi Indians stated, we are the ones we've been waiting for. And now we're stepping up. We're not waiting for anyone else to step up. You are the Messiah that you've been waiting for. You're the Savior that you've been waiting for. You're waking up into oneness. As Eckhart said, you are the new species that is arising on the planet. It is arising now, and we are it. We understand what we're doing. In conclusion, it's one thing to simply view your own spirituality and your personal relationships in regard to the source. Oh, it's another thing to take good care of yourself, absolutely. But when it comes to respecting and treating others from your spiritual center, to live this way in the material world, it's quite another thing. And this is what we are doing. Will we improve? Will we refine ourselves? You bet we will. We're going to become better and better. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. But what is especially exciting is that we are doing this together. Rest assured of our spiritual commitment to each other in now creations. You can count on us as we count on you. Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. We are journeying together. We are journeying together. This has not always been the case. Of course, we were concerned about our personal relationship to God. And of course, we wanted to take care of ourselves. But as far as broadening the circle of oneness, it was difficult to get beyond simply immediate family and friends. Judgment and criticism easily came to us. Not that we were nasty or terrible, but well, if that's the way people want to be, that's up to them. We didn't realize we were continuing to sow our own seeds of division. And yes, there was an element of smug self-righteousness. Smug self-righteousness. I know better. When are they going to wake up? Again, not nasty, but judgmentally. And then it dawned on you. It dawned on you that the separation you felt between the other and yourself became an internal separation. I'll say it again. The separation you felt with another became your own internal separation. A resentment, you didn't like them. But then it dawned on you again that how can you hold the energy of judgment or control and not liking them and be in the higher energy? You were terrific with yourself and your family and friends, but with others, living effectively with others in the world caused problems. Well, I tolerate them. So where are you when you're in the energy of tolerating them? All right, I accept them. Again, where are you when you're simply accepting, but really not liking? But then eventually you began to understand that you needed to understand them, that they were stuck. And while we hated to admit it, at that moment, they became our teacher. And while you grumbled and grumbled about, oh, they're our teacher, yes, they're my teacher, you really began to accept the fact they really are your teacher, or they're teaching you something about yourself. And then that wonderful notion of respect came into play. Yes, I know I am a child of God. So is everyone else. I need to respect them, although our journeys may be somewhat different. I know I need to do that. That to love them, oh my, to love them. I gave you an easy way out when I said to love. To love them means not to break your energetic unity with them. This means you have to go up and hug them, and certainly don't become a doormat. It just means to understand that they are where they are, and you still see them as part of your family. Fortunately, fortunately, we had the great example of Jesus concerning the meaning of the crucifixion in A Course in Miracles. The meaning of the crucifixion is not to redeem you from anything. You don't need redeemed. You just need to wake up. But rather, the meaning of the crucifixion is to teach you that no one is outside of the circle of oneness, even those who might be crucifying you. Page 94. And then he said, teach only love, for that is what you are. Page 94. Two things before we close today. First one is to become the total package. It's more than just having a good daily spiritual practice. It's more than just taking care of yourself. It's really learning to live effectively with others. We need to live effectively with others. But here's the best point. Notice how much happier you are when you do so. Put it to the test. Put it to the test. Return now to the rhythm of your breathing. Nice, easy breathing. I bet you feel pretty good right now. Inspired, happy. As well you should. And with that, let me invite you to gently breathe your eyes open. I mean, you have to smile. Look at what you know. Wow. Wow. Look how you're living. Wow. I am an eternal being of light and love. Thus, only good can come to me, and only good can come from me. And we are eternal beings of light and love. Thus, only good can come to us, and only good can come from us. Namaste.